Okay, so picture this scene. It's Tuesday morning, early. The sun is just starting to hit the yard.
That classic transport scene.
Exactly. You've got 3 trucks idling. The smell of diesel is thick in the air, which, let's be honest, usually smells like money to anyone in this game.
It's the smell of industry. Motion, noise,
Yeah.
activity.
Yeah, you're watching them pull out the gate, load it up, heading for the N3. The dispatch phone is already ringing. It feels good. It feels, successful.
Mm-hmm.
But today we're taking a look at a stack of research from Greystride that basically throws a bucket of ice water on that whole sunny morning.
Yeah, because the core message is a little unsettling.
It is. It's this. Busy does not mean profitable.
And that is the crucial distinction. It really is. It separates the operators who survive from the ones who just quietly bleed out.
Right.
You can run your trucks into the ground, your drivers can be maxed out, your revenue, that top line, can be shooting through the roof. But your bank account, it could be telling a completely different story.
And we're not talking generic business advice here. We are deep diving specifically into the South African context.
Which is a brutal environment.
It is. We're dealing with fuel hikes every month, toll fees that never go down, insurance premiums spiking.
And customers pushing for longer and longer payment terms.
Yeah, thinking 60 days is a favor.
Right, it's not for the faint-hearted. And what makes this Greystride source material so interesting is that it doesn't focus on the big disasters. We're not talking about a truck rolling over.
No fraud case, no massive crash.
No. We are talking about bleeding money quietly.
Quietly. That's the really scary part, isn't it?
It is. It's about the small, hidden inefficiencies, the little leaks that just compound over time until you look up one day and realize you've been working 18-hour days for basically nothing.
So our mission today is to kind of act as a diagnostic tool. Greystride has outlined 7 signs that a transport business is bleeding cash without realizing it.
And we're going to walk through them.
And I want to challenge you, if you're listening, don't just nod along. Really mentally check your own operation against these signs.
Be honest with yourself, because on paper, things might look great.
But we need to look at what's really happening in the margin. So let's jump straight into the first sign. And this one, it feels like a total paradox.
It really does.
Sign number 1. Your turnover is growing, but your bank balance isn't.
Ah, yes. Growth without structure.
But explain that, because if I'm getting more loads, maybe I even financed 2 new trucks this year. Surely I should have more money.
You would think so.
Yeah.
But not necessarily. In fact, rapid growth is often the quickest way to kill a transport business in South Africa.
Wow.
Let's just look at the cash flow cycle of a single truck. You put a new truck on the road, before it earns a single cent, what's the first thing that has to happen?
I have to fill it up. Diesel.
Right. So you're dropping, 20, maybe 30,000 Rand just to fill the tanks.
Gone instantly.
Immediately. Swipe, gone. Then Friday comes, the driver needs his wages, the bargaining council levies need to be paid.
Also gone.
Right out of your account. Then the month ends, you have to pay the installment on that truck, the insurance, the tires you just replaced. All that cash is gone. Now, where's the money from the client?
Well, I've sent the invoice.
You sent the invoice. And the client's terms are, 30 days from statement?
Mm-hmm.
So you wait till month end to send the statement, then they wait 30 days. In reality, you're looking at 45, maybe 60 days before that cash hits your account.
So for 2 whole months, I'm the one floating the entire operation of that truck.
Exactly. And if you grew by 2 or 3 trucks, you are floating a massive amount of capital. If you don't have the cash reserves, you end up in your overdraft.
So you're paying interest.
Prime plus 2% maybe, just to keep the lights on, while your client sits on your money.
You're basically financing your own growth with expensive debt, even though the revenue looks good.
Precisely. You are growing a working capital gap, not a bank balance. The source asks a really confronting question here.
What's that?
Do you know your net profit per truck, per month? Not the revenue, the actual net profit after all of that. If you only look at turnover, you might be growing yourself right into bankruptcy.
That is a terrifying thought, and it leads perfectly into the second sign, which is all about how we set those prices in the first place.
Oh, this is a big one.
Sign number 2. You don't know your true cost per kilometer.
The danger of the napkin calculation, or worse, the copycat strategy.
I see this all the time, the copycat strategy. You call up a buddy or maybe even a competitor, ask what they're charging on the Durban run, and you just match it.
Or you undercut them by 50 cents just to win the business.
But I have to push back on that a bit. That's how the market works, isn't it? If the going rate is, say, R18 a kilometer, I can't exactly quote R22, the broker will just laugh and call the next guy.
You're absolutely right. They will call the next guy.
So
And you have to let them.
that is incredibly hard advice to swallow. You're saying I should turn down work.
I'm saying you should turn down losses. This is where operators get it so wrong. That competitor you're copying, maybe his fleet is 5 years old and it's fully paid off.
So he doesn't have my finance costs?
None. Maybe he has a bulk diesel rebate you don't have. His break-even point is much lower than yours.
Okay, I see.
So if his cost is R16 a kilometer and he charges R18, he's making a profit. If your true cost, when you factor in everything, the truck payment, insurance, tracking, admin, overtime is R18.50 and you charge R18.
I'm paying 50 cents a kilometer for the privilege of moving his goods for him.
Exactly. You are running a charity, not a business. And the scary part is, in South Africa, these costs are hidden. People calculate diesel and tires. They forget the invisible costs.
Like what, for example?
The admin burden, the cost of your tracking and recovery systems, the fluctuation of diesel. If you quoted a fixed rate 3 months ago and diesel has jumped twice since then, you're underpricing.
And the consequence isn't that you go bust overnight. It's a slow death.
It is. It's erosion. You're just trading cash. Money comes in, money goes out, and nothing sticks. As the research says, guesswork is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know your floor rate.
Okay, let's move to the trucks themselves then. Sign number 3. This is about the actual movement of the fleet. The headline is, your trucks are moving, but not always profitably.
This goes right back to what we said in the intro. Motion does not equal money. There's a concept in the source material called the liability on wheels.
A liability on wheels, that sounds harsh.
It is harsh, but it's often accurate. Imagine a truck that is 100% busy. It never stops, but it's running empty return legs, or it's taking unplanned detours, or, and this is the big one, the operator takes a really low-paying backload just to keep the truck busy.
Okay, hold on. I get the liability concept, but let's be real here for a second. If my truck is in Cape Town and it needs to get back to Joburg and I run it empty, I earn 0. If I take a cheap load, even a break-even load, surely that covers my fuel. How can earning something be worse than earning nothing?
It feels like free money, doesn't it? Like you're just covering your bases.
Exactly. It pays for the diesel.
But does it really? Let's look closer. That cheap load usually comes from a less efficient client. Now your truck is stuck in a queue at their depot for 6 hours.
Ugh, standing time, the absolute killer.
Now your driver runs out of his legal driving hours. He has to park off. Now he's stuck overnight. You've lost a day. You've lost a day of high-profit work you could have picked up back in Joburg if you had just deadheaded home.
So I missed the good load because I was busy chasing the crumbs from the bad load.
Precisely.
Oh.
Plus, you've put wear on the tires, you've added mileage to the service interval, you've risked a breakdown, all for a margin that is effectively 0.
You have to look at revenue kilometers versus non-revenue kilometers.
You do. And sometimes coming home empty to catch a premium load is the most profitable decision you can make.
That takes a lot of discipline, though, to see an empty truck and just say, that's okay.
It requires looking at the data, not just the truck. If a truck is busy but only 2% profitable, it's occupying your mental bandwidth and risking your capital for almost no return.
And speaking of risk, that brings us to the physical health of the truck. Sign number 4. Maintenance is reactive, not structured.
The old, if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality.
Which you're saying is a guaranteed way to bleed money in this country.
It is.
But again, let's play devil's advocate. Repairs are expensive. Cash flow is tight. I can understand why an owner would want to delay a major service if the truck seems to be running okay.
Yeah.
Why spend our $15,000 today if I don't absolutely have to?
Because you aren't paying for the oil change. You are paying for predictability.
Predictability, what do you mean?
In transport, volatility is the enemy. Think about the difference between a scheduled expense and a crisis. A scheduled service happens on a Saturday. You plan for it. You cash flow for it. It costs, say, $5,000.
Okay, manageable.
Now, compare that to a breakdown. The truck blows a turbo on the N3 at 2 a.m. on a Sunday, and it's carrying a rush order for your biggest client.
The nightmare scenario.
Now, you aren't just paying for the turbo. You're paying for the heavy-duty tow truck. You're paying Sunday emergency rates for the mechanic. You're paying for the driver to just sit there. And the biggest cost.
The client.
The client. You miss the delivery slot. You get hit with a penalty. Or worse, the client says, you guys are unreliable, and they stop calling you. The invisible cost of reactive maintenance is your reputation.
So that preventative planning It feels like an expense up front, but it's actually just insurance against chaos.
It reduces volatility. Unpredictable expenses destroy your margins because you can't plan for them. A healthy business is, well, it's kind of boring. It's predictable. If your maintenance schedule is exciting, you're losing money.
Speaking of exciting and not in a good way, let's talk about the human cost. Reading through this report, sign number 5, it actually hit me the hardest. It stops talking about tires and starts looking at the owner sitting in the office.
The financial pressure sign.
Yeah. Greystride calls it constant financial pressure. But I think anyone listening knows exactly what that specific knot in the stomach feels like.
It's that Sunday night dread.
Right. It's waking up at 3 a.m. wondering if the debit orders are going to bounce. It's looking at your supplier list and deciding who you can afford to alienate this month by paying them late.
It is a terrible way to live. And the source makes a very strong point here. If you are always firefighting financially, it is rarely just bad luck.
We blame the economy or the driver or the government.
But it's usually a structural problem.
Yeah.
A healthy business should feel structured. It shouldn't feel chaotic. If you are waking up every day just wondering which fire to put out, that's a flashing red light that your business model has a leak.
And maybe one of the reasons it feels so chaotic is because you're flying blind. That leads us right to sign number 6. You don't have reliable, simple reporting.
This is the pop quiz section of the deep dive. The source suggests every transport owner should be able to answer 4 questions within minutes, not days. Minutes.
Okay, let's hear them. Listeners, see if you can answer these right now in your head. Question 1. Which truck is your most profitable?
And be careful here. Not which one brings in the most revenue. Which one actually keeps the most money after all those hidden costs we talked about?
Okay. Question 2. Which contract is underperforming?
Which client is actually costing you money to serve because of their bad payment terms or their long waiting times at depots?
Question 3. What is your average gross margin? And question 4. What is your break-even revenue per month?
If you need to spend 3 hours digging through spreadsheets to answer those, or worse, if you just had to guess, you are operating without visibility.
And when you can't see clearly, money just leaks out quietly. You don't know where to plug the hole because you can't even see the hole.
Exactly. You might think your big earner truck is the hero of your fleet, but when you look at the real data, the maintenance and the fuel consumption on that vehicle might mean it's actually losing you money.
And without the report, you'd never know. That leads to the final sign, sign number 7. And this one really speaks to the founders, the guys who started with one backy and built an empire. Sign number 7. You are personally carrying the entire financial picture in your head.
The classic founder's dilemma. You know the numbers intuitively. You've been doing this for 20 years. You can feel when a route isn't paying.
Is that a bad thing, though? Intuition is powerful. I mean, that gut instinct is probably what kept them alive for this long.
It is. It's not bad. Intuition is incredible for starting a business. But the source has a great line here.
Go on.
Instinct built your business. Structure scales it.
Instinct built your business. Structure scales it.
I like that a lot.
Because if the entire financial health of the company just lives in your brain, the business is fragile. You become the bottleneck. What happens if you get sick? Or if you want to take a holiday?
The business just stalls. And more importantly, you cannot spot the small compounding inefficiencies with instinct alone. You can feel a disaster coming. You can't feel a 3% variance in fuel consumption across your fleet. You need data for that.
You need a system that tells you the truth even when your gut is telling you everything's fine.
Exactly.
We've painted a bit of a grim picture here. I mean, we've covered cash flow gaps, hidden costs, bad loads, breakdown disasters, stress, flying blind. Why is this so critical for South African operators right now, specifically?
Because the margin for error here is it's razor thin. We aren't operating in a market with stable fuel prices and low inflation. We have massive volatility.
Right.
In a more forgiving market, you can afford to be 5% inefficient. You can be a bit sloppy.
But not here.
Here, in the South African transport market, a 5% inefficiency might be your entire profit margin. If you lose that, you're just working for free.
Okay.
The environment amplifies every single mistake.
Small leaks sink strong ships.
That's the perfect way to put it.
Okay, we promised some good news at the start. I think we desperately need some now. What is the upside here?
The upside is massive. These problems are not permanent. None of the 7 signs we discussed are fatal if you address them. Most transport businesses aren't failing because they're bad at moving goods.
They know how to truck.
They know how to truck. They're bleeding because of the business side of things, the underpricing, the poor cost visibility, the inefficiency.
So it's not about working harder, because Lord knows these guys are already working as hard as they can.
No, you don't need to drive more hours. You don't necessarily need more trucks. You need to shift from guessing and reacting to intentional, profitable decisions.
It's a shift from just grit to actual strategy.
That's it. You have the grit, you built the fleet. Now you need the discipline of financial insight. Imagine the relief of replacing that month-end anxiety with just clarity.
Knowing exactly which contract makes money.
And which one you should maybe renegotiate or even drop. That's empowering. Instead of the client dictating terms, you know your numbers so well that you can say, I can't do it for that price, and here's exactly why.
And if you fix these leaks, you can make more money with the same fleet you have right now.
Significantly more. It really comes down to control.
Huh?
Are you controlling the business, or is the business controlling you?
So let's wrap this up. We've unpacked the 7 signs: growth without structure, guessing your costs, unprofitable movement, reactive maintenance, financial stress, poor reporting, and relying on instinct over data.
It's a comprehensive list. And remember, the whole goal is to make every single kilometer work for you, not against you.
So if you recognized your business in 2 or 3 of these signs, or hey, maybe all sing and don't panic, view them as moments of opportunity. It just means there's money on the table that you can reclaim.
The strongest operators are not the ones who never have problems. They're the ones who identify the problems early and fix them decisively. They don't let the leak continue.
I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on as you head back out to the yard or drive to your next meeting. It's a question that cuts through all the noise. You know how to generate activity, you're good at seeing trucks move, but look at your operation and ask yourself this: are you running a business that generates cash, or are you just running a business that generates activity?
That is the million rand question right there.
Because there is a very, very big difference. Thanks for diving in with us today. Hopefully this helps you plug a few of those leaks and keep a bit more of that diesel money in your pocket.
Safe travels out there.
Catch you on the next deep dive.